I know you guys may not like it, but it is a realistic option for the New York Knicks.
5 down to 7. Barrett outside the switch. Doncic goes, oh, what a great stop! And then he hammers it home. Broke his ankles. And he pounds it.
What's going on, guys? Welcome back to a brand new video. I hope you guys are doing well, and you guys have guessed it, we're talking about the point guard position, but I think it's really smart to go past plan A and sometimes really have a backup plan when it comes to the point guard position. Some people may want Alonzo Ball, some people may want a Kyle Lowry, but what are you going to do if you don't get those guys in free agency? Will it be a Devontae Graham? Will it be a guy here of Spencer Dinwiddie? And I know a lot of Knicks fans would be like, nope, I want no part of him. He was a Brooklyn Net. But I really don't think that's a good reason to not sign someone. If they could ball, they could ball. But there is negative glaring issues when it comes to Spencer Dinwiddie. Not his overall game, but there is some health concerns. But if you end up enjoying this video, be free to give me a thumbs up and click that subscribe button for more content. Let's get right into it, y'all. So we're going to be starting off with the negatives here because there definitely is some glaring issues if you really take a look at his rapport, or just you have to really make sure you do your deep research before you sign a guy like Spencer Dinwiddie, especially someone that declined their player option. I believe it was around $13 million to get a bigger contract. A team like the Miami Heat might want him, the LA Lakers, hey, the New York Knicks might want him, Clippers. There's a lot of teams out there that may be interested in a Spencer Dinwiddie as their starting point guard, or whatever role they really want to put Spencer Dinwiddie in. And again, I wouldn't mind him. He definitely isn't my top option, but there are some glaring concerns, like I said. So the negative here is that he just came off of a torn ACL. He did not play many games last year, and a torn ACL is really concerning in any sport. Hockey, football, basketball, of course, because you never know if they're going to return back to their old form, good old form, and they may not move the same. Spencer Dinwiddie is he's someone that's 6'5", he's built like a brick house. He isn't really someone that just relies on athleticism. He does have a high basketball IQ. He knows how to get to his spots out there on the court, so I really don't think that's a big time concern, but still, you never know when there could be a freak accident and then he goes down with an injury, and you just ended up giving this guy so much money, and then he just doesn't stay healthy out there. So yes, a torn ACL is definitely one of the worst injuries you could have in sports, like in any sport out there. So that definitely is a big time concern, especially when it comes to giving this guy a pretty big contract or a generous contract. I'm not saying a max, but most likely it can be a generous contract. And now moving on to his shooting. He is someone that's a pretty versatile scorer, but he hasn't been the best of shooter from the outside. In his healthy year, like when he averaged 20 points per game, he nearly attempted 6 threes from beyond the arc, but he did not make a lot of them. He is a pretty streaky shooter. He's going to have nights that he makes 3+ threes, and then he's going to have nights that he just can't hit the side of the barn. Sometimes he can just not be the best of three-point shooter, and his shot selection cannot be the greatest in the world. But I'm not sure if the New York Knicks really should take on a player at the point guard position that's an inconsistent shooter of the basketball from beyond the arc. I think we need someone that could definitely stretch the floor more. Now you take a look at the turnovers. He actually nearly averaged 3 turnovers per game, but turnovers, they don't piss me off as much as some other people, but it does really matter what time of the turnovers, or when did the turnovers occur. If they're towards the end of the game and it cost you a game, that's a bigger deal, or that's a totally different story. But the best players in the world turn the ball over. If it's Luka Doncic, James Harden, and LeBron James, it is a fast-paced game, so you have to make sure you have that mindset of next play up mentality or whatever like that. So you just have to really have short-term memory when it comes to basketball, because it is a fast-paced game. You're gonna make mistakes, but I don't really look at that as much of a glaring issue as other people do. Now getting into the positives of Spencer Dinwiddie's game, I really do like how versatile he is offensively. Yes, he's not the greatest shooter from the outside, but he actually does do a good job maneuvering around, probing around, really scanning the defense, and I would say he really thinks before he makes a decision. I'm not saying he does a lot of thinking, he's not hesitant, but he is really smart when it comes to picking his spots out there on the court, getting to his spots. He's a good mid-range shooter, he knows how to get to the rack, and he had some nasty plays of just some nasty dunks around the rim. I'm not sure if that's going to be the same coming off of a torn ACL, but I do like his ability to dribble penetrate, really get the defense guessing, some nice hesitation moves in his arsenal. You don't know if he's going to shoot a 3. He might end up pulling up from mid-range territory, but he's someone that can really put pressure on the defense, score the basketball. He averaged 20 points per game in his healthy season. And due to being physical and having hesitation moves in his arsenal, he actually gets to the free throw line a good amount of times a game, getting there 7 times a game in his healthy season, shooting at a 77% clip. He did have a couple seasons that he did shoot 80% from the free throw line, so you definitely would like to see him get back to that form. I really like how he's able to create separation with his handle. I would say he has a really solid handle, and if you are wondering like how is he towards the end of games, well, he has this type of attitude, or he has this type of mindset that he's definitely not afraid of the big moment. In a Brooklyn Nets uniform, he's actually had a lot of clutch plays. If it's from beyond the arc, he could be having a terrible game, but he literally has that mindset like, I don't care how I was the entire game, I'm locked in right now, and I'm just gonna have that. He has that short-term type of memory. If he misses a shot, it's like, all right, there's a next shot where I can make a better play the next time, erasing all the terrible things he did earlier in the game and really stepping up when it mattered most. And like, he has proven to hit clutch shots. And he also isn't the worst of passer in the world. He averaged over 6 assists per game. He can make the basic reads out of the pick and roll. Like I said, he's really good at dribble penetrating, keeping his dribble alive. So he does a good job of getting the defense to collapse and kicking it outside to the perimeter. But he could also dish it inside. He's made some nice passes to Jared Allen in his Brooklyn Nets career. So I definitely do like him offensively. He could distribute the basketball. He could pull up from mid-range territory. He could work down the lane. He definitely plays very physical. That's what I like about Spencer Dinwiddie. He's strong. He's 6'5", built like a brick house. Now getting into his defense, I actually think his defense, that's like one of the most underrated parts of his game. He does a really good job shutting people off because he's so strong, because he has these long arms, and because he's 6'5", so he's a pretty tall point guard. He does a good job of really stopping dribble penetration and contesting shots outside on the perimeter. I remember watching one game up against like Terry Rozier. He did an extremely good job at Terry Rozier. Terry Rozier has the ball on a string. He has a nice step back in his arsenal. He's good at really creating separation, but he is someone that fights. He plays extremely hard. He plays very aggressive, and I know he kind of has like this competitive nature when it comes to New York Knicks. He doesn't really like the Knicks. Like, he's trash talked the Knicks a lot.
Knicks fan, so you be on Twitter doing a lot of Knicks shots. What's that about, bro? Come on, man, ease up on us, bro.
Nah. So it's not really shots. Like, I tell the truth. Y'all just don't like the truth, and it turns into this whole big thing.
Talk to him.
Hey, look, if y'all are buns, y'all are buns. It's cool. Like, y'all got my guy Theo Pinson. I know y'all bench gonna be lively and dancing and stuff. It's gonna be phenomenal to see. Y'all still gonna get that head crack. So, like, it is what it is.
So that might be a sign. Maybe he doesn't come to the Knicks, but right now he's technically not in a Brooklyn Nets uniform, so we don't know. We don't know what's going to go on to happen. He might have a totally different mindset and like what the New York Knicks are doing moving forward. Just wanted to throw that in there, but I like him on defense. He's a good on-ball defender. He's pretty solid at reading the passing lanes, but he's also someone that has the capability of switching because he's so strong, because he has these long arms. He's not really afraid of like small forwards in the post or even a power forward. He can't really deal with like centers, but I'm talking about like more of the slender power forwards. When I'm thinking of that, of course, he can't really handle like an Anthony Davis in the post, but he is someone that's physical and does not give up on the defense side of the basketball at all. You can't really look at his steals. He didn't have any big-time numbers, but he's proven to be a very solid on-ball defender in his NBA career, and I'm sure Tom Thibodeau would really like that. But we're talking about someone that can put pressure on the defense, make basic reads. He's a good defensive player. I wouldn't mind Spencer Dinwiddie, but the ACL injuries, not shooting it well from the outside, definitely is a big time concern. But thank you guys so much for the great amount of support, and peace out, y'all.